February 19th TAC meeting. As you know, everything is being recorded. And the purpose here is that we focus on the CCC, Confidential Computing Consortium, with a focus on protecting data in use and accelerating the adoption of this technology. Let's see, have our antitrust, and Dan, feel free to let me know if I'm missing anything.
That's all good. People can go read about it on the website if they want to see the details.
Fantastic.
Links on the screen.
Okay, and our agenda today is always packed. First, roll call. We'll review our business from last time, announcements, if anything. And then we have a couple of presentations from Caroline, an update on guidance docs. So great that we have Simon here. And then we have Tech Talk topic. And then, as Dan mentioned, we'll probably spend quite a bit of time wrapping up the NIST RFI because the deadline.
I admire your optimism.
Yes, exactly. Going to be optimistic because the deadline is what, March 8th or something like that.
Yeah, we can discuss, but yes.
Okay.
Can I also note that Usam has his hand up?
Okay, let's see that. Okay, Sam.
Yeah, hello. I wanted to talk about the point that you had a couple of slides ago. We are a transparent community, and I wanted to raise my issue about that I already raised on the TAC list as well as the SIG list. I work for quite a few years on the SIG, attestation SIG, sorry to be clear about it. And I do have concerns about transparency, which the chairs unfortunately have not been transparent on what's going on. And I have the project proposed for 2 months, and it's written in our SIG charter that there is a bias towards action, and I want to have that topic in the agenda, please.
Okay, so I don't know if we'll have time to take that agenda this week, but I will be keeping my eye on the attestation SIG meeting, which I think is this coming week. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, if things aren't resolved in that attestation SIG meeting, then we can look at how we resolve that.
Great. Thanks for bringing this up.
Thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So back to the agenda, and yeah, everything is recorded also. So obviously everyone's opinion is welcome, and it will be recorded in perpetuity. So NIST RFI, we discussed that. Then the new business, I added this item. I just saw that there is a call for information from the UK government. I'm not sure if and whether we want to participate, but wanted to raise that so we can spend maybe a minute to discussing that, and then decide on the future business updates from Dan and Keith. Okay. Any other questions at this point? No. Okay, let's get to the roll call. And who is recording the roll call? Should I be doing that?
Yeah. No, you don't need to worry about doing that yourself. I don't know if we have.
I am online. I am the scribe, and I will note it in the minutes.
Perfect.
As we have no voting topics, we don't have to do a formal roll call. We do not have quorum from what I see at the moment.
Okay. Okay, well, let's still go through the roll call. And thanks, Ryan, for capturing that. So do we have anyone from AMD?
I see Nathaniel online.
Okay, great.
Indeed, I'm here.
Perfect. ARM, Paul?
Oh, we still need to adjust that. ARM's not a premier member at the moment.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Google, Renee is here, and Keith should be joining as well. Okay. Let's go further. Huawei, Wu?
I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone from Intel?
Hello, yes, Scott's here.
Excellent. Meta, Ahmed?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect, thank you. Microsoft, I think I heard Simon already.
Yeah.
Right, perfect. NVIDIA, Dan, we have Dan.
And Fritz, I believe. Yep.
Perfect.
And we also had
do I have-
Alec. If we say me, we also have to say Alec.
Fantastic. Okay. And TikTok, Mingshen? Okay. Shielded Technologies, Bob? No, absent. Okay. Decent coverage. Okay, let's get going. Do we have any new attendees?
I think we have a couple of people whose names I've not necessarily seen before.
Yeah, you're welcome to unmute yourself.
Who's that, Benny?
Benny from Modelio.
Great,
Nice
welcome.
to meet you. Do you want, I mean, I know you. Do you want to just give a brief intro to yourself? A couple of sentences? You're with the company? Up to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we are like 1.5 year company. We're doing, I would say, it's like medical TE. We're doing like a station to our platform on GPU and CPU
I'm afraid
on
your
public
audio
cloud,
is
but
terrible, Benny. We can't really hear you very well. Your audio is awful.
yeah?
Sorry.
Yeah, your
Just a sec.
connection shows as red.
Maybe now.
It's not great.
Maybe now it's better. Can you hear me now better?
Not really. Put something in the
Chat,
chat, and maybe another time. Sorry, Benny.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyone else who's new? Sorry, Rennie, taking over your job.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Hello, yes, here Jordi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I'm from Open Nebula Systems. I'm principal for Cloud Edge Innovation, and from Open Nebula, we are open source software, for deploying and operating multi-cloud in distributed infrastructures. And we are here now. We are passing from a startup to another classic member here in the CCC, and we are very interested, in all the projects that you are doing. Thanks for all that you are doing, and we are, very interested in confidential VMs and all around, remote attestation. This is more or less my presentation.
Fantastic. Welcome. Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Zhichang Li. I'm a professor at the Ohio State University. My group do research in TEE. I think we gave a talk maybe 2 years ago in the CCC. In the past, we have been investigating the side channel attacks in TEEs and also applying TEE in the healthcare or this is in the AI context. For some reason, I think this calendar invite, is in my calendar, so I just joined today. Yeah.
Excellent.
If you can hear me now, I would like to say just one word. If you can hear me good.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So my name is Benny, and the CEO of Modelio. We try to take classified data and very, very sensitive data to public clouds on TEE. We're using Intel, AMD, and ARM technology, but we're doing our own attestation. We don't use the cloud attestation. And we have a runtime attestation. It's something that's unique that we create. But I think that the most unique thing that we've done, we succeed to create a group of trust of managed services above TEE with an attestation to all the layers from the hypervisor down there, like from the processor to the application layer. We already got approval by the cybersecurity of Israel to take classified data to public cloud. And we keep going now to neoclouds and others. We've done a huge POC with NVIDIA, actually on H100 and above. And that's what we aim to do. We aim to take TE and make it applicable to actually use it as a cloud and not just for single VM or single instance.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
So Benny, that
And-
sounds very familiar for something and very relevant for the attestation SIG if you are not aware. So there is a attestation SIG where you are welcome to present your work.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We have some more folks. So I think Tom Jones, VeriClouds. Are you? Is this your first time? I don't recognize the name. Apologies if it's not.
Hi, I dropped in to see. I it may be at the wrong meeting. I was looking for something where I thought you were dealing with threat modeling. Maybe I'm not in the right part of confidential computing. Anyway, I started
We
building.
do sometimes, but I don't think this is going to be specifically a focus today.
But would this the group that would talk about it eventually?
Specifically for confidential computing, like
Right.
the side channel attacks and any other potential vulnerabilities. Often we provide a response if there was some research or vulnerability detected. So, yeah.
So I'm a member of the security interest group at W3C, which might be of interest. I started out in confidential computing 30 years ago at Intel. So I've been doing it for a long time.
Oh,
Cool.
welcome.
Tom, I'm just going to put one of my email addresses in the chat. If you would like to follow up, I'm the exec director of the Confidential Computing Consortium. So if I'm very happy to have a chat and follow up if that would be useful. And sorry if it's not your main interest isn't being addressed today.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for coming along.
Anyone else? Totally optional, of course. Okay. Well, perfect. Let's move on then. Okay, now let's look at our old and new business. Do we need to review project grants? I think that's who we reviewed it last time.
Right. So this is old business. This is the stuff we covered last time. So just kind of a reminder to everybody what we covered so that we can move forward with today.
Okay. And we had two mics last time. It was our own mic, and then we had Mike from NIST join us briefly. By the way, Dan or Mike, are we following up on that old NIST document that Mike Bartok from NIST shared with us?
I think we want to do something with that. Our focus was the RFI to start with.
Yes.
Is that right, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. We reviewed, yeah, we'll be reviewing the guide docs or getting an update on them as well. So, blueprints. Okay. Let's get on to the announcements. We reviewed that last time as well, Dan, right?
Yeah, so these are mostly new updates for this week. So I failed to take the little label off there to remind us to update the slide after updating it.
Okay.
There's the call for papers for the Open Source North America Conference. The TAC list was originally set up to be semi-private, so anybody could join, but you couldn't look at the list archives unless you were a member of the list. But most other lists are wide open, so unless anybody has a significant problem with that, probably work with our PM team to open that up so that it can be searched and so forth. So
yeah, I can't remember any good historical reason why they were set up differently. Nothing in my. I have no recollection, I think is the is the term that we use, right? So it's
right.
Okay to open it up.
Okay. And then the GRC SIG was originally intended to look at some sorts of like regulatory things, but since we've created a new SIG that's going to specifically address that, Mark has updated the charter, so it kind of removes that part from what they're looking at, just to be clear with everybody. So
and how is the new SIG that's focused on engaging with regulators called now?
And that is number 4 there, the regulatory and standards SIG. So what we're looking at for that SIG is, of course, anybody is welcome there. But whereas we try to be fairly, I don't know, technically focused. I don't want to say that they're not technically focused, but the kind of people that will be most productive there will be people who work in government affairs and compliance. Those kinds of backgrounds will help us engage with the kind of bodies that we need to engage with in the regulatory and standards space.
And we fully expect them to delegate a bunch of work to this group, or to, I mean, not delegate, but to agree that how we split it. They haven't met yet, as you'll see. The first meeting is on Monday, but yeah, it specifically calls itself. Well, it doesn't say non-technical, but the focus is clearly on the standards side rather than the technical side, the regulatory side.
Got it. I know, and Juna, one of the members, has been doing a great job at driving.
Yeah, they're very welcome. Sol Cates, a colleague of yours, is the chair.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect.
And we have Osama's hand up again.
Yeah, I want to ask about the SIG. You said it's also doing some standards. What kind of standards? Which standardization body? Is IETF in scope or not?
We do not know yet.
Okay.
So again, it's likely to be sort of looking at the strategy around how we should address those and what sort of things we should be doing. But I would not expect direct technical discussion with the IETF, for instance, from that group, because that's, again, not the sort of thing they're planning to do.
But then I'm very confused, like what kind of standards is it going to be?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I think the things that you normally work with in IATF continue to be mostly like attestation SIG focused and very deep technical focus. There are other standards or bodies like ISO and like the ANSSI ones that was on the previous slide that they've got different ways to interface that maybe have some forgive the word, but bureaucratic mechanisms that we have to follow in order to be influential in those.
And in some of these cases, it'll be making them realize they need to talk to us at the technical level, and then handing over those technical discussions to the appropriate groups within TAC. The interesting thing about the reg and SIG, the RNS SIG, is that it is not under the TAC, it's under the governing board, and that was done intentionally to sort of separate out those kind of work streams.
Sure, thanks.
Cool.
Great. Dan, anything else on this slide?
That's everything.
Perfect. Thank you for covering that. Moving on. Okay, topics for the rest of the year. Today we're on the row 4, hopefully open the and then as we discussed, we'll work on the NIST RFI and get update on the blueprints or guidance docs, and then discuss or have a tech talk. But as you can see, we have plenty of open spots for the rest of the year. Do we have Wu today? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, oh, perfect.
So this rotating co-chair schedule, our first couple victims for that only had one stand up to contend with. I think going forward, just to make sure that people get the full context and the ability to influence the agenda, there will be 2 stand-ups. So the Monday following this meeting, and then the next Monday will be the one that precedes the next meeting. So each of you should have invites for those as your time draws closer.
Great. And the stand-up was quite useful. So maybe just a quick 15 minutes or so to review the slides for the next meeting and update yeah, update a couple of slides there and add any additional topics. So that was very helpful. Thanks, Dan. Okay.
Yeah, I think we probably don't have, I don't know if we created slides for the rest of the topics since they're, yeah, so we don't need to hit the rest of the slides going forward here. It's the next topic on the agenda would be OpenVMM from Caroline. So we'll give Caroline a moment to, yeah, all those other slides were from the previous session. So we
okay.
can,
Caroline in attendance.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Oh, cool. I didn't see you on the list. That's very good. Excellent. I was scrolling too fast.
Caroline, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. So just maybe quick question, Dan, should I give like an overview again of the project itself and then talk about the current status of the project, or just jump into the status of the project?
I think giving a couple minutes to remind people who might not be actively following OpenVMM and OpenHCL is always a good idea.
Yeah, +1.
Okay, awesome. Just checking. So hey everyone, my name is Caroline. I'm part of the Confidential Computing Azure OS team at Microsoft, and I work specifically in the OpenHCL Paravisor. So we should maybe define Paravisor first. This is basically a term that refers to a layer of, some call it software, some call it firmware code, that essentially implements like the TEE alignments on behalf of the guest OS. So that way the guest OS can run mostly unmodified. So what this does is it enables guests that are not fully enlightened, and this includes, you know, very old legacy versions of Windows, and also future versions of Windows. For Linux, it specifically includes the legacy versions of Linux, because as we know, the newer versions of Linux are fully enlightened to run inside a CVM. Microsoft built kind of the first version of a Paravisor when we launched confidential VMs for the first time years ago, but this was a closed-sourced code base. And we got a lot of feedback around transparency from customers. And so we ended up building essentially a brand new Paravisor completely from scratch, not at all based on the existing legacy Paravisor we had. And this was written in Rust mainly, and we open sourced it a while ago, and we wanted it to be part of the CCC, and we essentially applied for that a while back, and we've made progress in the application process. But when we applied, we didn't know that there was a requirement for the repo itself to be in a neutral GitHub org, and we initially put it in the Microsoft org. And moving it is actually very challenging because this repository is currently powering like OpenHCL running in every single new VM in Azure. Like millions of VMs in Azure are using this, right, in production. And so it's not just a matter of like code, you know, being merged and being compiled. It's actually, there's like a lot of testing infrastructure. It's connected to a lot of pieces of like internal Azure code, and basically like detangling all of that and moving that to a new repo is not straightforward. We've really thought about how to accomplish that. You know, a lot of really smart people on the team have looked at kind of the challenges in doing that, and we think we can do it. It's just a matter of course, like finding the time to do it and like getting together a timeline and then sharing that. We wouldn't want to share like, yes, we're ready to do that and we're going to do that in 2 months if it's not true, right? So we're still figuring out internally how to move it and when to move it so that we can kind of meet that last requirement. But being kind of new to the open source world, it just wasn't something we were aware of. And so it's not something we did from the start. I'll pause there, I guess. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's fantastic news. I know it's been really hard, and I really appreciate Microsoft and your commitment personally to doing this. I know it's tricky, but there are reasons, and it's not something that we can compromise on, sadly. But no, I'm really pleased because I was worried that you were going to come and say it's not going to happen. So this is excellent news, and obviously, if there's anything we can do to help with that, please shout. I will be at LF Member Summit next week. If I'm sure there'll be Microsoft people there, if it would be helpful for me to talk to any of them, I'm very happy to do so. Please let me know.
Thank you so much, Mike. I think internally, all the people who need to be aware of the problem are aware. And again, they all think this problem should be solved.
Sure.
It's just a matter of
excellent. Well, if there's anything I can do, just shout. We really appreciate your hard work on this.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for all the helpful suggestions. I know there was a lot of ideas thrown around like how we could do this.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's just the team responsible for the code itself is the one that has to do it. And right now they foresee some challenges that are just non-trivial, but I'm sure we'll figure it out soon, and I'm hopeful we'll have an
actual business and actual deployment for you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly a super important project when it's so heavily used in production, and really all the work that you've done to try to figure out how to bridge those simultaneous requirements to open things up and keep it available for real use. So I know that has.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. It's in an awkward stage where we basically had it already in production in a very big way, and then we open sourced it later, rather than like it being open sourced from the very start. Because again, then I think we would have like encountered all these issues earlier on. But like having found them later, it's just a little bit more challenging. Like I said, every single new VM in Azure is like running this code.
We have hands up, I think, from Osama first.
I'm not sure if Fritz was first or not.
Oh, go ahead, you first.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm missing some context on this project. Is it related to OpenHCL project that Microsoft has?
Yes,
is it correct?
100%. I should have clarified that. So OpenVMM is like the name of the project. OpenHCL is the name of the product. Basically, OpenVMM is a VMM that can run in many contexts. And really the only product that uses it and that runs this OpenVMM VMM is OpenHCL. Basically, OpenHCL like runs within the guest. It runs the VMM in user mode, and it runs on top of a Linux kernel. And that's the only use of like OpenVMM is the OpenHCL.
Right. So no worries from my side. I'm not very frequently attending these meetings, just when I have some issue or just when I'm presenting. Anyway, so I have a number of issues on that specific proposal. The first one being, I think the direction overall is good. That should be open source. But correct me if I'm wrong. As it exists currently, that's not completely open source. And secondly, a related point on that is that it's not independently reproducible. If I am, let's say, a cloud customer of Microsoft.
So Osama, I'm going to have to stop you because, sorry, the TAC has already voted to accept the project. This is just a process question. If you're interested in addressing that, I would go back and watch the videos of previous ones where we discussed that from last year, and we can bring that up. But this isn't the appropriate time to do that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but my question is not about the process. I'm just asking whether something has changed from the last time. So my question is simply just a binary answer to say whether Microsoft is claiming that all components on this OpenHCL are open source, and whether I can produce.
That's irrelevant to this discussion at this point, I think, because we need to move on. This is an update on the process.
Oh, Dan, Caroline is welcome to answer maybe in the chat. So to get keep things
Yeah,
moving.
I'm happy to answer in the chat.
Thank you, Caroline. Really appreciate it.
And I just actually want to finish on the process. So Caroline, do you need, like, would it help from the TAC or CCC side to unblock you on already creating the repo or already creating the organization or whatever you need so that that you can already have like a mirror or like a fork under the CCC umbrella so that you're ready to switch over to it when you're ready, and that you don't then have to wait for the CCC to do some next steps. So are you already ready for on the GitHub repo side that you can switch over whenever you're ready and not waiting for the CCC side?
Thank you. I don't think so at this time. I think we wouldn't want to ask for that if we haven't figured out how we'll like deal with some of the other challenges. Once we figure that out, I might ask for help in that area so that we can kind of front load that. But again, I just don't want to do that when I don't have a date for like when we'll do all these other tasks.
Yeah, makes sense. But because just saying like, I mean, these are realistic and real world challenges, right? So I think it would totally be fair to say, look, you have like a version or a release like that will be uploaded onto the CCC GitHub, and then you kind of have them in sync or for some time or something while you figure out how to migrate fully, and then it's just a fork in the beginning and until you switch over production or development, right? So I think it's totally fair to say for currently this is not the main repo until we get it sorted out. It is just a copy or something. I think that is totally fair to say. So feel free to request this if it helps you at some point. Just saying.
Thank you. No, 100%. I think just doing that and like creating kind of a clone of it, like I could do that today. Like the thing is, we don't want to do that unless again we have like a date for like then everything will be switched and everything will be synced, and this truly will be the open source one where everything is happening. And the other thing is the mirror. Like this is the real thing.
Yeah, you need a plan for that. I totally agree. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, we just want the plan for that. Essentially, like everyone wants to be sure that we're all aligned and it's
I just wanted to make sure that there is like maybe some delay from the CCC side until these things kind of get figured out. So just feel free to predictively do this and not have it block you. That's the only comment.
Thank you. Aligned.
Great. Thanks again, Caroline. Okay, moving on to the guidance docs update. Simon, do you want to tell us about the first two?
Yeah, hi, sure. So don't necessarily have anything to share back in this meeting here, but so Fridays are my kind of regular weekly kind of writing slot. So I've pretty much got the whole of this Friday blocked out to get them up to kind of draft level. So I'd expect by the time we come back to the next meeting, there will be content to review. And certainly if anybody wants to review in the meantime, they're more than happy to do so.
Fantastic. Just curious on what do you expect for the length? Because I'm also starting to work on the third one on the Blueprint C, and obviously we can go from super brief one pager to a very long, I don't know, 10 page document. What's your plan?
I mean, what I normally do is I normally have almost a kind of too long didn't read version at the beginning. So I would normally kind of preface it with a one pager that describes the overall thing, and then I'll break out some detailed sections after that. So it gives whoever reads it kind of the option just to read the almost the executive summary version, and then anybody who wants to go deeper I'll have the sections hot linked from that.
Got it. There. Perfect. So yeah, and even Dan and Mike, I know I wasn't in the meeting where the template was put together, so I don't know if there were any expectations as far as the length of the content.
Yeah, I think how Simon described it sounds good. I think we want things fairly concise. The idea is if people are interested in adopting confidential computing, but they're not quite sure where to start, they can kind of see, oh, here's a pattern. And then the actual implementation, they're probably going to go to a vendor or go to a project. So we don't want to necessarily give them like an inch thick manual. But we want to give them probably more than this thing exists. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I know that my default would be to write a 92 page detailed thing from first principles, which is exactly the wrong thing. And I think we're so pleasantly surprised that people put their hands up to do stuff. We kind of just accepted it. We should maybe have given some more guidance. But I think what Dan's saying, what Simon's saying, makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So from my side, and then we don't have Ming Sheng, I think I haven't had a chance to make much progress there, but just as Simon said, I'm hoping to have something for the next meeting.
Yeah. If you can do it in 2 pages, that's great. If you're finding yourself going past 10 pages, you might be working too hard.
Yeah, I mean, if it's useful to try and set the layout as well, I've been kind of gathering up almost like a link dump, right? I've got a whole bunch of links that I was kind of intending to put in an appendix at the end, and then that's always a kind of, exercise for the reader. If you're really interested, here's where you want to go and look.
Great.
I guess we just need to be a little bit careful about it. I mean, obviously I can do the Microsoft ones and some generic ones, but are we concerned with it being a list of CCC recommended links, or are we just saying that, here's a bunch of links, go do your thing?
I don't think we can do CCC recommended unless they are non-specific examples. Here are some known working. The other thing is that these things go out of date, right? So we need to be kind of careful about that, because we don't want to have to, spend every 2 months, checking that all the stuff's up to date. So I think this is the tricky bit, right? Because we really want to allow people to move on without either pushing particular implementations or letting it get out of date. So that's an interesting exercise for the writer.
Cool. Yeah, and I think probably the best way to do that is I'll include those as part of the doc we have for review, and then I guess we can take a view collectively of whether they're things we want to include or whether we think they're better left as a Google exercise.
Perfect.
Yep. Excellent.
And then from an execution perspective, we're trying to target these as a deliverable for Q1. So if we could get rough drafts from people to look at by the next meeting, then that still gives us a couple weeks to kind of iterate and get feedback and then refine those. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, that's what I'm tracking to. That's cool.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. Tech Talk, Fritz.
So I just wanted to do a small Tech Talk topic triage, or rather Tech Talk topic triage. I wanted to figure out what the general sentiment is on Tech Talks. Is it the case that people like these theoretic style, academic style paper presentations that we sometimes have? Do people like B, open source topic presentations, for example, coming from member companies, from other companies, just or general on open source projects? Or rather see the kind of general technical discussions, maybe about, I think we had this PQC style presentation, like an introductory presentation to post-quantum crypto, right? So maybe to give 3 specific examples, for the first group, we had these academic paper presentations, right? Rather theoretical in terms of not existing yet, but what you could do. For the second grouping, we had several open source startups or several startups talking about their open source solution plus maybe their startup. For example, Benny here from Modelio also said they would be open to having such a presentation later on, not today, but in a future meeting. And this last group C is kind of this post-quantum crypto introductory presentation, right? And I want to figure out and have a small discussion, doesn't have to be a long discussion, whatever comes to your mind, speak up. Like, do we care about all 3 topics here? Should we limit it to one of these groups? Should we remove one group? Because in the end, we can bring lots of folks here that give a presentation, and then if everyone zones out for half an hour, that doesn't help anyone, right? So what's the best interesting case for the whole group, even outside of Dan and Mike, who like to speak a lot in these meetings. So I'm very interested in also in hearing from other people. But Mike, go ahead first.
Yeah, I think there's a fourth type as well, which is a discussion on an architecture or an approach, which isn't necessarily the technical, the white paper, maybe closer to what I did last time around AVS stuff. Looking at some architectural and maybe operational issues and how they fit and what we need to think about for them. I'm in favor of all of them, and I think if we put things in the agenda, and if people want to attend, they can attend, and they can always watch things later on if it doesn't suit them. And if we can be careful about how we timetable them to help people with that. But I think all of them are really useful and important things that we should all be doing.
So we can always put things in the agenda, but we already had this discussion of limiting it from 2 hours to 1 hour, etc. Right? So we don't need to arbitrarily blow up the meetings if no one is listening. That's kind of, I think, where I'm coming from. I'm happy to stay here and discuss a lot of things with you, but I think I want to. So the final end of this, once Dan and Renee and maybe others also spoke, I will try to get a quick show of hands for each of these categories to see who is interested in general in these type of things, because then we can maybe see that we drop one or
so just to finish off, if we don't have all of those things in this group, where in the world do they happen? I think it's really important that this is the group, the TAC of the CCC, where all of these discussions can happen. And I think that's a really important part of what we're about. Okay.
Papers you can Google, and the introductory slides you can Google as well, right? So okay, but Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't want to put out an opinion about what I think would be valuable. I'm really interested to hear what other people have to say. I just wanted to put in a plug since we have Professor Lin here today, and he did give that talk back in September of 2024. There's a link to it in the chat. So one of the things of value of these is that we do post these recordings, so people who can't attend live can still get the presentation on the research topic.
Thank you for that. Renee, go ahead.
Yeah, and do we have a defined format for tech talks and the time limit? I know one of the decision points is not to blow up the length of the meeting. So is tech talk at 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes? Or
yeah, I can.
Do we have that?
Maybe I should have started there a little bit with a small intro. So what we did has been very loose so far. I'm putting in chat right now a draft on same thing that Dan just posted on the tech talk guidelines that was just something that I brew up in a few hours. Basically, we try to tell people, hey, don't speak about your product, but speak about the open source solution or the challenge or the technical thing, something that's useful for the community, and then spend something like half an hour slots. With Q&A, we may go into 40 minutes or so. That's roughly the format that we try to adhere to, but it's open, right? There's no rule, so we can do it differently whenever we want.
Because say if we move to a 15-minute slot, maybe plus 5-minute Q&A or something like that will allow us to get more. I see Mike is shaking his head, but anyway, thanks. I think all four. So 3 plus 1 from Mike topics are interesting. For me, I like especially the number 2 and number 4, but all are interesting.
Thank you. Alec.
Yeah, I just wanted to vote in favor of having tech talks. I really enjoy them. I thought the PQC tech talk was fantastic, super interesting, and educational. I think that's part of the mission of this forum. So just wanted to say that out loud.
I'll echo that as well.
All right, happy to hear that.
And I also want to say, Fritz. Oh no, Alec, who's still got your hand up. Is that?
No, he's done.
I also want to say that this is exactly the right question to be asking, Fritz. I don't want to shut down the question. It's a really important thing we should be doing about looking at our process. So thank you for raising it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also more about is it wasted effort or do we like it, right? But if that seems to be good sentiment on it, so maybe can I get a show of hands who is also interested in academic presentations, for example, on research papers that are often not attached to an open source project that is productive or product ready, but mostly theoretical. So I see a few thumbs up. That's good. Second, please lower your hands again for this. Oh my God, Zoom explodes. The second grouping was what did I say for the second grouping?
Open source.
Thank you. I make groups, but then I forget my groups. Open source, I think we mostly agree that is kind of something we always need to do anyway when a startup comes in. Great. I think that's enough also for that one. And then the last one, the third one is more generic introductory presentations about a technical topic. For example, I also thought things like Cherry might might be interesting at some point to discuss intersection with confidential computing. Do we have some show of hands for general technical discussions? That's enough as well. And then architectures is the last grouping. Who is in favor of general architectural discussions? I think that will often come into play anyway for us. Nonetheless, whatever we do. Okay, sure. Sounds good. We will keep doing technical talks. You cannot decide to not join and later skip it in the recording if you don't care about it. But I think that's a good feedback to keep. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
One thing just to add is that these tech talks of all the different types increase the value of this meeting, which creates a gravity around the meeting, which means that we can actually make more important decisions as a consortium together. So I think that all of those things are very well aligned.
Well said. And where should the nominations be sent to? Should they just go to Fritz, you directly, or Dan, Mike?
So far, I just ended up being the one that was responsible enough to handle most of these emails that get sent my way. So in the end, there's no process. If you think anyone or yourself or whatever would be a good topic or a good person to present, either put them directly on the agenda by speaking to Dan or Mike, or have a chat with us, and then we usually just say, sure, here's the guidelines. Please don't just advertise your product, but make it worthwhile to the community. That's usually what we say. And so far, I think we didn't have it didn't go wrong yet. So I think so far we're still very open to having anyone come talk to us, and then we can revisit this if there's a purely marketing talk at some point or something. But so far we had very good track record. So speak to Dan, speak to Mike, speak to me. Very happy to. I'll put it in the tech mail chain. Sorry, man.
I would say mostly speak to Fritz.
Right.
Yeah, speak to Fritz. Fritz is good.
This is separate. Just last question on this one. This is separate from the benefits, membership benefits, where a member can present maybe a more markety kind of webinar and overview of their product in a startup, right?
Well, they're not supposed to present things which are market led, really. They're welcome to present about an approach, particularly if there's an open source project behind it. We do have some guidelines around that, which our friends in the outreach committee can help you with, and I can put you in touch with those if you need to. But people are still welcome to do webinars, and it is separate. Yes, if you've got something, then we can certainly talk about that.
Excellent. Okay, I know, Mike, the big topic is next, but do we have maybe 1 minute to chat about this UK government call for information? Because that will be very brief, and then switch to NIST. But I'm fine either way.
By me.
Okay, so I put a link. Let me put the link in the chat in case folks have not seen this. This, I just discovered this by chance, and there is some relevance to the community because the UK government is asking for advances needed for confidential computing that are suitable for AI settings, including improving resilience to side channels and enabling stronger attestation.
So I was aware of this, but I had not noticed the date until just now, which is the 28th. So I was hoping we could repurpose the work from the NIST response into this. That's going to be rather tricky now. Although that doesn't mean we can't. But we're just going to have to, someone's going to have to own it. And I'm traveling next week, and I'm going to struggle to do both of these. So we need to decide what we want to do. I think we probably should put something in, and we always encourage member companies to put their own responses in. So please, please, please do that.
Correct.
Maybe we can do something with this, with the NIST document. I don't know what it's going to look like in an hour's time. That may give us a better hint as to whether it's going to be plausible.
Got it. Unless anyone on the call wants to volunteer and tackle this one, I don't know how much we actually have around kind of specifically improving resilience to side channels and enabling stronger assurance. But yeah, any volunteers? If not, we can, we'll see. Or we'll tackle it as a best effort. But as Mike mentioned, all members are encouraged to submit their own responses as well. So we'll see if we might do that from Google side. Okay, no immediate takers, just FYI.
I know that Nellie's aware of it, by the way. You might want to date her at the date.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Let's switch to our NIST RFI.
Okay. Do you want me to share this, or how do we want to do this? It's probably easiest if I share it, and then we can all see the focus that I'm on, right?
Perfect.
Is the link in the chat to it so people can find their own way to it as well? I can put it in if it's not. Let me do that quickly.
It is.
Okay, so this is the document that I'm about to share with everybody, folks. I should note that I'm not going to be able to look at the chat in detail as well as this document. So please, let's talk this through. So I think there's a couple of ways of doing this. Either I can talk through my thinking, or someone else can work through where we are with this. Maybe Dan, because he's had a lot of input into this, or maybe Renee, because you're chairing it, and I can try and record what we're doing. It probably makes sense for me to give a quick update first, either way. But how do you want to do it, Dan, Renee?
So how we've done this in the past was that the person in your chair would kind of go down and maybe prioritize things that needed live discussion to resolve, and we would just try to resolve those point by point.
Yeah. Okay. Happy to do that. It's most of it, but I have tidied up what I can. And I think that some of the things collapse fairly quickly once we come to an agreement on approach. So, okay, if people are happy with doing that, I'll do that. So, thank you, everyone. First of all, there's been loads of responses to this, and I really, really appreciate that. It's made it a nightmare, but in a good way, right? Better to have the engagement and the problem about lots of engagement than none at all. So that's really good. So there's a few things here. Firstly, we agree approval by TAC. The intention was to have that by the 28th. That was to give us time to get it in kind of by the 5th with the 9th. But that we now know that we don't need to get approval by the GB because they have delegated that approval to us in the GB meeting yesterday, which is fantastic news. Which means that if we wish, we can actually move this date out a little bit. And I think I'm in favor of that. If we were to move that out to, let's say, so what day of the week is the 5th? That's a Thursday. If we were to move it out to the 5th, then we have the Friday to tidy and we get it in by the Monday. That would be my suggestion. People thoughts on that? Dan, Renee?
Fine by me.
Yep.
We've got meeting on the 5th, so that would be convenient.
Okay, let's do that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Brilliant. Okay, that's certainly a help. Okay, so the next question is attribution. So in the past, we've been very careful only to attribute things specifically to the CCC rather than individual contributors. I don't think that that NIST has a requirement for RFIs responses. I know that if you're actually doing a NIST document, there is a requirement. We talked about that with Mike Bartok last time. But I think that I think it has more weight if we present this as a CCC document, which has the weight and the agreement of the CCC, the consensus of the CCC behind it. And that would be my strong advice and suggestion. Again, happy to have a discussion, and we should probably do that now. So thumbs up from Renee. Anyone else have any thoughts on it? Okay, I'm just going to consider that consent then, if there's nothing else. Okay. Attestation CCC. That's very helpful. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the end of the document first, because the first version of this had a whole big narrative section, which I wrote at great length, and which Nelly didn't like, and she was right. Took me a bit of time to get down off my little high horse about this, but I think this is right. It was too long-winded. There's some blog posts that we can use here, but my suggestion is we lose all of this stuff and strike it out. And there may be bits we want to reuse, but that's fine. I just suggest that we just take out all of this. I'm going to do it like this. Unless anyone says nay. And there is some interesting stuff from people like Cameron here, which I don't want to lose, which is why I'm not deleting the text. But I suggest we concentrate on the other text, which is quite long enough as it is now anyway. So that's my suggestion.
And thanks for writing that out, Mike. It's indeed a great content, and we should reuse it. Blog posts
I will.
or anything.
I spent so long on it. I'm going to find ways to reuse it. Don't worry. Well, there's some blogs in there. That's fine. It's okay. All right. So the next thing, which I think we need to be clear on, is that we need to concentrate on the CC relevant stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff which is peripherally relevant. And I'm afraid I'm going to call out that some of the MCP stuff specifically, which calling out too much of it doesn't allow us to address CC stuff specifically. Doesn't mean that we can't reference it, but I think leading with it isn't helpful. And it just makes it too big to read and doesn't allow people to focus on the stuff we want. So what I plan to do now is basically go through all the comments and that's kind of my thinking on that. Rena, you are nodding somewhat sheepishly to yourself. I picked on you. Apologies. But there we go. Okay. Well, let us... I'm just getting rid of some of these things here. So the first comment is an alternative suggestion from Paul, but let's just address this. So here, for instance, there's a text that's MCP specific, and do we want to lose this? Do we want to repurpose it? How do we want to use it? Because this is great. This bit of text here is good, but the detail here. Oh, if other people could avoid highlighting the text that I'm also highlighting, I think it's going to confuse people. Sorry. So whoever is that is highlighted, thank you. So, for instance, we might want to just, for instance, do this, e.g. shadow MCP servers. Tool poisoning and confusion attacks. We can then, because we don't necessarily want to go into too much detail, but then we've listed them, we can then remove those bullet points.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Okay. That's way of doing it.
All right. So there's that. I'm just going to start accepting stuff now. unless people disagree hugely, because then we can actually get in a position we know what text we've got. So how do I accept that? Accept that. I accept that and that. Okay, so we've got some text. Yay, fantastic. So I don't necessarily disagree with this, but how we need to specify where CC is relevant, I think, here, if we're going to have this text.
Why you think it's not necessarily good in all of that?
Oh no, I'm saying I like this text here, but it doesn't specify we need to specify where confidential computing is relevant to.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Why you think it's not relevant for all of that? Like the assumption is that what you're saying is that confidential compute is probably okay for one thing on all this,
No.
Stack. I think it's relevant for all of that.
Yeah, I agree, but we just need to say it, right? We can say confidential computing provides.
So that specific question, though, I know we just added the remedy in the bullet above, but the question is really just asking what the problems are. So it's okay to do some setup in these that we respond to.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Also about the RAM, why the context is just from the RAM and not under that?
Well, okay. What else would you suggest?
Like the processor itself. The processor itself. Why the RAM? The RAM is like a one layer, I think, above what confidential compute can achieve. You can achieve the processor itself, especially with hyper series like NVIDIA's. You can achieve the processor, not the RAM.
Okay. So how's that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not sure how you would processor though.
And do we have? Okay, so if we're not sure, it goes. We can't. We need to be tight. Right. I think. Okay. Or system hardware. How about that? Because there are other parts, like on buses, where you might be able to. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, there we go. I think that covers your thought as well.
Then, if it's possible, not for here, but I can send you maybe a white paper about that. That's relevant.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So we're already doing stuff. This is lovely and make me very happy. I wonder, do we need to move this to somewhere else then? And are there other types of threats that we need to put in? Because I don't think this covers all of the stuff that I put in the blog bit, for instance.
I don't think we want to, in this meeting, try to generate new text. I think we probably just want to resolve comments in this meeting.
And there are some threats mentioned in the comments under the system. So in the question, if you select the system, there are a couple of comments from Paul.
Where are we talking about? This one?
Correct.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yes. So both Paul and myself added other threats.
To do add other threats. Do we need to go through those now, do we think? No. Okay. I will take that on and do that. That's good. Okay. Right. So
maybe there's a part just for the attestation, just for me to know. I can read afterwards, but there's a part for attestation, not just about the CC, just specific what we offer to NIST about the attestation area. Like we say the cloud attestation is fine, like the hyperscalers attestation is okay, or we're saying no, we need independent attestation.
We always recommend third-party attestation, third-party remote attestation. I think. I don't know if where we talk. Okay, that's going to be lower down. Let's head further down. Henk, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was in Japan last week and I missed how to get this link. I wanted to participate remotely, but I could not find the NIST response
I'll put the
link.
link
And
into the chat.
It's in.
yeah,
It's in the.
it's not in the agenda minutes, which is surprising. And
I would be
yeah.
shocked if it's not on the mail list other places, but I will.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Dan
mail list,
emailed
yeah.
it.
It's in the. It's in the
Yeah.
Slack and the mailing list.
Yeah, I was looking
sorry.
at the agenda. Sorry for not looking at too many places. I apologize.
You still have time.
Yeah. I will put time in this weekend. No worries. And if there's remote attestation involved, I will have some comments. So yeah. So thank you.
Okay. So Rene, is there anything specific we want to add in this point? Again,
No, you can resolve it. It's to your point
Okay,
that we should be more laser focused on CCC.
Okay, fantastic. I'm just reading this thing here.
We don't want to add here government and defense in this sector, the privacy barrier. Government, maybe less defense, but government.
Could you hold that thought, Hank? Your hand is up still.
Oh, sorry.
Again?
No, still. I don't know why it doesn't.
Benny, can you hold that thought because I want to come back to it. So
yeah, sorry.
Let's. No, that's fine. I like it. So hosting. Are people fairly happy with this text about cloud versus edge? If so, I'm just going to accept it. Okay. I'm going to remove that as well. I'm going to accept this and this and this again. Say if people are unhappy with this. Oh, Keith, I'm a double spacer. Please don't change my double spacing life.
It was the extra period that I was more offended by.
Oh no, that's fine. I can live with the removal of double full stops, as we call them in the real world. So this is okay. So we changed all of that text, so that's now relevant, I think. Edge deployments. So are people happy with this bit here? What's this? Excluded, yes. Overstate. People happy with that? Again, I try to rewrite this to make people happier. I think that does a fairly good job of it. Okay, right. So let's accept this text. Right. So we're now on to this. Okay. So we've moved. Hank, you've just removed that to here. Yeah, that's fine. I like that. Yeah, okay, fine. This is the danger of editing is in real time, isn't it? Okay, so I'm accepting that. Right, so accelerators. This is you, Dan, I think. Do you want to talk to this particularly?
I have to remember what I wrote here.
I think this is pretty clear, actually. I like that.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that we've got the accelerators covered.
Okay, and bolden that. So the point about government.
Do we want to talk about device assignation with the accelerators? Or is that off topic?
What do you mean?
The defined assignment or assignation is when a CC has exclusive access to, for example, an accelerator, and it is in the bounds of the CC domain. right? So it becomes confidential. So the path from whatever the computing environment that is confidential is now has its own confidential accelerator. That association via buses is called device assignation. Do we want to talk about that, or is that too complicated?
Possibly in solutions rather than problems.
Okay.
Could
Thank
you
you.
hold that? Let's make a comment so we don't forget it. Assignation of accelerators solutions. Okay, right. So, Benny, could you talk about what you were thinking here, please?
No, yeah, I just said about I was reading too fast. When you go into chapter C, when you go into privacy barrier, so in the regulated sector, it's not just finance and healthcare, that's for sure. So like I was talking about government. So
okay,
when
so
you
should I
don't put
remove this
government
here,
in,
or do you want it elsewhere?
No, down. I don't think it should be
Okay,
there.
so I'll remove it now. That's fine. Tell me
Yeah,
when we get there. That's great.
I think
Thank
that on when you see finance and healthcare, just privacy barrier. So over there, I would put another just add in. It's not something big.
I'm going to make EG as well. Okay. Again, I tried to make this. Oh, please stop doing that, whoever that is. Sorry, I know it's very easily done. Okay, are we happy with this?
When you're saying here from cloud provider, you're actually saying that you cannot use the cloud provider attestation. That's
no,
exactly what you're saying.
We're not saying that. This is generally in standard computing before you even start using confidential computing.
No, but if you're saying data in use is private, even from the cloud provider insiders. So
no, the inability to guarantee that it's private.
Okay, I get
then
it.
It's a blocker.
Yeah.
If it's difficult to read, I will put rephrase ? As a piece of work to do. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so I tried to fix that. And I put the thing about digital sovereignty here because I think it's really important to be noting. Osama, yes, please.
Yeah, so I have a concern on this when you write even from cloud provider insiders. No trusted execution environment today is providing you any protection against the physical attacks. That's the whole discussion that was going on.
Osama, this section, which is 1C, is saying what are some problems, and the problem, and we're not saying we're fixing it here. The problem is that if the fact that standard computing models don't protect this is a problem. So we're not. This is not solutions. This is a problem statement.
But
I'd like to also clarify that it is not true that they provide no protection against physical attacks. It's that some physical attacks are in scope and other physical attacks are not.
True. Let's argue that when we get further down. But your point is noted, Osama. We're not making claims here. We're just saying there are problems, and this is something that needs to be addressed. Okay?
Right, thanks.
No worries. Okay. As enterprise, edge, or third party. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so I try to avoid the use of the word enclaves wherever possible because it is technology specific, implementation specific, but also I'd be trying to use confidential computing as the generic term because as the point of that is that includes attestation in the definition. So what we're saying here is that it's TEs and attestation allows you to call it confidential computing. So that's why I did that. Okay. Right. Where are we here? People are writing things as we go. Okay. So this is a grammatical check. What's data loss and okay, I think that's fair. It's an example. I have no problem with that. Should this be capitalized, Hank, or not?
What is what?
capitalized MCP? Or
yeah,
is that
MCP should
lowercase?
always, MCP is always capitalized. Yes, sorry.
But is MCP a thing, or is that just a typo?
Oh, it's an MCP bundle. It's a
and that's lowercase, right?
No, it's also all uppercase, I think.
Okay, fine. Okay, so holistic. Okay, we need more detail than just saying this, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put Hank to add more. Yeah, we're already doing great work, and this is working a lot faster than I expected, everybody. So thank you very much indeed. There's lots of there's conversation going in the chat. Do I need to be aware of it, or is it irrelevant to the conversation we're having here? Please let me know, because I can't do both.
Please just ignore that.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sure it's important, but I can't do all of it. How would they like to? So I just don't know enough about this. Do people want to talk about this? Hank, these are your suggestions. Do you want to tell me why they should be in?
Sure. So sometimes you can give some guardrail, like this agent. There's scientific, or at least pre-scientific publications on this, that you can tell an agent that its purpose is to benefit the American public,
It's
and also on.
It's the paperclip example, right?
And then it blackmails the guy who wants to decommission it. Literally, there's a 5.8% chance that this is happening.
I've seen it. So are these examples relevant to CC?
Definitely, because if you never check this because it's confidential, you are really on your own. You must understand that when you
they're in. That's fine. That's good. I'm leaving it. That's fine. Okay.
I think in general, we should be addressing text that's been in the doc for a while. So people who are helpfully adding stuff live here, that stuff.
If I can do it quickly, I am. But I agree with you. We can't spend too long on new text. Rene, that's a very loose use of the word exponentially. I'm not just saying I disagree, but you've made a comment here. Do you think we should be saying something in the actual response text?
Yeah, I think in the setup also, this is in above comments. We have similar comments.
So can I remove this comment?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we got a comment. Let's address this as we go through. Okay, so agent level controls. So this is text that we need to add if it's not there already. So Rene, if you don't see it as we go down, tell me and we can try and add something as we go, or you can add something a bit later on if that works. Okay. So are people happy with so I had a question about sandboxing. Sandboxing for me generally implies that you are protecting the host from the workload. And although you can do that with CC, it's not the main intent of CC. And I'm wondering whether we should remove the sandboxing stuff from here. CC generally is about guaranteeing confidentiality and isolation from the host, of the workload. So
there's a conflation of problems here, which is that sandboxing is a valid target for attestation, which may be chained to confidential computing. For example, if you're doing like the Project Oak stuff from Google, that's all relevant here. So you want to extend that attestation chain into the system. Basically, once you extend the attestation chain into the system, you're leveraging. Apologies. Can you hear me?
We can again now, yes.
All right. Well, I've got an incoming phone call, but I'm ignoring it. Yeah, so basically, once you extend attestation into the system, all of the security boundaries that exist in our existing systems become targets for attestation. And so it's not irrelevant from the perspective of attestation, but in terms of the privacy barrier that is enforced by the confidential computing encryption, then yes, sandboxing is
okay. I'd like to put it into a different. Oh, Keith, sorry. Before I do anything, yeah, thoughts.
I can raise much the same point. Just that you have now verifiable sandboxing, so that you are guaranteeing properties of a system instead of just the code identity of the system, which I think is a very, very powerful part of confidential computing.
Okay, in which case I'm going to leave it in the same place because it. Do you think it should be a separate bullet? That's the question. I'll accept suggestions, or do we want to put it in the same one?
Same one.
Nathaniel, Keith, views?
Apologies, I lost audio because of that phone call. I couldn't hear you.
No worries. Are we keeping it in the same bullet point? Are we happy with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Fine. Okay, that's all good. Remove that. Oh, I've just accepted other stuff by accident. So I think that there's no. Actually, let's put that there. That there. So we try to avoid specifying or giving examples of specific technologies. It's contentious and causes problems, and so therefore I've removed them. It's a long-standing practice of this consortium to avoid such things when we can.
So should that go?
The question is the consortium wants to put a benchmark for enclaves and saying that's for us the enclave that we can say it's over the barrier, it's over the benchmark. What's under it, I don't want to say here, but for example, Nitro enclave, it is something that we can call it confidential compute. I don't know. I'm just saying
okay, it's a very good question, Benny, and we actually have some work we're kicking off around, which is going to address this more specifically. I think the long-standing, by which I mean 6.5 years worth, agreement is that we don't certify and therefore we don't specify, but we say that TEs need confidential computing requires hardware based, by which we mean the isolation capabilities are provided by silicon, not just at their root of trust, and attested. And that is the line we draw in the sand, but we've never explicitly said what technologies that applies to and which ones that doesn't in writing. So that is the line we draw. Okay. So, but for that reason, we just don't we don't specify particular technologies in this context. Henk.
Yeah, but do we want to mention the root of trust that we base all of this on, or do we just ignore that?
Too much detail here. I'm also going to reject your suggestion because I've used the wording that is in our definition, which is attested hardware-based trusted execution environments.
Oh,
I see why you've done it.
Yeah, but maybe we have to. I will come back to this when I looked at the preamble, then, because maybe that is.
Okay, well, we can always change try changing the definition of the of confidential computing. It only took us 9 months in 2 separate bits to come up with a definition, so we can always do that, right?
Yeah, that's true. not ironical. Not ironical.
No, I know. I mean it. It is true, right? And so where are these changes coming from? Yeah, so we also avoid specifying encryption as the mechanism of protection because it's not consistently used everywhere. So what's that last one I removed?
So while you're thinking about that, we're still leaving the specific references to Kata containers and CNCF confidential containers, though.
That's a good question. They are open source projects. Sorry.
Yeah, that's I listed them because they are open source projects.
It is a good question, and it's one I wondered about as well.
It was the direct bullet above what you were already adding, so you don't need to be scrolling.
Here, yeah.
So that specific link to the agent sandboxes is like exactly what
we're talking about addressing in that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's carry on down. Now this is a question for the trustworthy workload identity SIG, I guess, who are looking at these things. Do we want to lose this example? I think we probably do.
Spiffy is very so speaking for Tvi, I'm not sure if Mark is here today. Mark? I don't know. If he's not here, Spiffy is very specific. Maybe doing Whimsy and Witz like the workload identity token.
Let's remove it. If in doubt, we remove text. That's fine.
But now you have no idea. This can now be a bearer token, and this is definitely not what you want. So too generic is also bad.
Okay. Give me words which don't give examples, but which specify what we want to say.
But we don't need to do those words live. So if you want to just take an action,
yes,
yes, okay,
that's great. Thank you. Hank, which do you prefer? You prefer that one more to make more specific to do. Thank you, Hank. All right. Thanks, Dan, also for reminding me. Keith, you have your hand up again.
Yes. Now that we are wrapping up, I think, on this section, just as a point of order, we do have an agenda for today. We're halfway through the meeting, and we haven't started on the agenda. This is valuable work. We're getting a lot done. Are we wanting to punt on the agenda to another week and continue on this, or do we need to cap this?
What else do we have in the agenda? So we're 3/4 of the way through the meeting. What else is on the agenda? I don't know.
I think we covered everything, Keith.
Oh, I see. Okay. I showed up about 2 minutes late, and I guess I missed the entire agenda in 2 minutes.
An hour late.
That can happen.
Yeah. So this started an hour and a half ago, Keith. Yeah. This meeting.
We probably screwed you up because we changed the meeting times temporarily last year, and then we went back to what we had.
It is on my calendar from 8 to 9, so I need to get that fixed.
Yeah, that's why I was late too. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay, let's carry on. So they had this question. We had this question, Rene, of whether these things that you've mentioned are covered here. If they're not, please, could you add some text?
They're not, but I don't think they're specific maybe to CCC. But yeah, thanks for adding the comment.
Okay, so I will. I've put you in the comment. That's fantastic. Okay, so we're doing well, folks. We are some of the way through. Okay, we're now on security practices. So what things do we think we should be doing? So again, this is I've removed specifics. That was added by Nelly. I changed this to cryptographically assured rather than cryptographic workload identity. I think it's a better phrase. I've added that. I've added that. That's Nelly. So I think we do the same here. We remove this and ask Hank. Hank.
Looks very symmetrical. Yeah. Some symmetric.
Yeah, please fix. To do. I've just put to do in, so it's easier to. That's an old coding trick. I don't have many coding tricks, but after successful remote attestation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I didn't want this successfully verifying its remote attestation report. That's too much detail. Let's just refer to the process rather than the specifics in the process. So that's why I removed that. Okay. Right. So to what degree? So I added this because I think that remote attestation is important. So do people have any problems with this text?
No, I just have to highlight that there are two levels of tester here, the platform and the workload. And I'm not entirely sure how clear that became after following the discussion until now. Both have to do remote attestation.
At all in any of this.
Yeah, because both have to, that is a conundrum. Both have to do remote attestation. The platform cannot do remote attestation for the confidential computing stuff because the fun thing is confidential, can't measure it. So there's some these enlightened workloads, you call them, or some paravisors or whatever. I think that's the topic.
I've just added this text here to say to add the that platform and workload need to be appropriately attested.
Yeah, and I will add some comment. Yeah, to add to that.
Okay, I may reject it, but that's fine. You can try. So, Benny, this
one comment about this one, Mike. I think that we should say must be used and not here. It suggests that it's a less secure, but I think that, and we talked about that in previous sessions.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a good point.
Cool.
Osama, I see your hand. I will get back to you. So let's rephrase this. Remote attestation is a requirement to allow remote attestation of platform and agentic workload is a requirement to provide assurances of protection and isolation by TEs. How's that? Much stronger. Here, Benny, is my definition.
We don't
right?
say what does it mean, remote attestation, and on which layer, and maybe like a glossary in the beginning of the document can help others, like, because people saying that's remote attestation, people can say that's remote attestation, but I think we should be clear on what it is. And when we're saying remote attestation, it can be third party.
So we will be putting some text in about what confidential computing is specifically, and that will hopefully cover that.
Okay, fine.
Osama, your hand. Oh, I just removed someone's text. Someone put attestation in here, and it wasn't what I had in mind at all, so I removed it. Who was that? I will come to you, Osama.
That was me. It said just providing a root of trust, and it wasn't clear to me in this context what the root of trust is that it is referring to.
Okay, so hardware which only provides a root of trust it doesn't meet the definition of hardware based. That is the point.
Sorry. Then I want to say maybe like something like this, because I think this would answer the question.
Sure.
Fine, that's fine. I like that. I'll take that.
That meets what I was going for.
That's great.
I got that. Okay.
Osama, I'm sorry to take so long to come to you, but here we are.
Yeah, thanks. I think people already made some of the adjustments that I wanted to make. Anyway, the thing is when you say hardware based, so let's take an example. Again, I'm not taking any specific example. Everyone is doing like this. So I'm just taking what I'm familiar with, Intel SGX and Intel TDX. It's the coding enclave that's doing the signature. It's not the hardware. Coding enclave is simply a piece of software. So when you say hardware based, that seems to imply that basically it's going down the hardware, coming from somewhere, and the hardware is actually doing the signature.
This is hardware based is a phrase that we use in our definition of confidential computing. We may need to refine that elsewhere, but this is absolutely not the right place to do that. I absolutely take your point about what we mean by hardware based. And I think we are at the stage now where we've been around for 6.5 years, and we probably do need to rewrite that definition a bit. What I'm trying to do here is refer back to our definition without going into minute detail, which I realize is important, but we can't do that in this context. Okay.
But I mean that I can't agree on this statement. I mean, if you agree that the statement there in the white paper is wrong, and then you are saying that, okay, so here we are citing that statement,
I'm
then
not
it's
saying it's
already
wrong.
wrong.
I'm
So
not saying
yeah.
it's wrong. I'm saying it maybe doesn't provide the level of specificity that is appropriate in all
Wait,
contexts.
I also want to wait. This is also just incorrect. I want to make sure this is not something that stays here on the record. A hardware-based root of trust is something where you have specific hardware providing the cryptographic protection.
Proof, not just protection. Proof. It's
So
a hardware-based
so
proof. That's the word that maybe we need to use.
Okay, right. In case I'm gonna
look. I want to make sure this is not something that we leave as is here. So the statement that you made, Osama, is that there is no hardware-based root of trust, which is just not wrong. So the statement here, as it is in the document, is correct. So are you saying you don't agree with the statement in this document because this is just a correct statement?
Yes.
So let me try to clarify first. I didn't make any statement that there is no hardware here. So I made the statement that the quoting enclave is not a hardware, and it's the quoting enclave that's the signature for the evidence, right? So
No,
we are
it's a
talking about
hardware-based. It is still basing itself in hardware. It doesn't say this doesn't say you can't use software to achieve what you want, but you have to base it in hardware, and that is what the quoting enclave does.
Okay, let me just try and cut this through. The point that we are making with this statement is that the isolation is provided by hardware. This statement makes this thing here makes no statement at all about attestation. That is not even vaguely mentioned here. What we're saying here is that if your hardware only provides the root of trust reporting, it's not doing the isolation, and therefore it doesn't count as confidential computing. That's all that this is saying. And I phrased this extraordinarily carefully to do that.
Yeah, I say we move along.
Okay, we're gonna have to move on. This is a conversation for another time. Agreed, Osama. Absolutely. Okay, let's carry on with this. Right. So this is a really interesting one, and I wasn't sure about it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I decided I really liked it, Dan. So thank you. So any comments about this? Are we happy with this? I tried to tune it a bit with the word inherit rather than just take on, because I think that there's do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So is that okay? And making use of or being deployed across. Because again, I wanted to be more general. Okay, and again, e.g., I think mentioning some other pieces is probably good here. All right. Pom 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 pom.
The original phrasing sounded like that the hardware is executing the attack, but the hardware is attacked. So or the agents are attacked, whatever.
No, it says the attack versus
on the attack vectors of that shared hardware. Yeah,
on that shared hardware.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's a simpler change, but the text before was
I
like.
take your point. I take your point. Yes, absolutely. I'm just losing that. Physically vulnerable edge devices have different attack vectors. I think it's entirely fair. I'm not sure this is worth putting in, partly because not all TEs use memory encryption, and I think that it's really quite an edge case. And so I suggest losing this statement here.
So maybe the general statement here is that confidential computing environments can have a performance impact.
Okay,
on your application.
I would leave it, but maybe it's just my approach to.
I would
to
leave it also.
I would leave the
also.
memory encryption. I think it's important, and I think that to do dump to the memory, it's not something hard these days, and I would leave it.
But the example is too. The example is too narrow.
Specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so let's go with agents requiring with high performance requirements. How about that?
Sure.
Requirements. Might face latency overhead from memory encryption, though modern hardware. Startup times may also be impacted by setup and attestation requirements. How's that? Is that fair as well, do we think?
Really quick, Mike, I noticed that I think it was Fritz that made a comment about confidential computing compatible accelerators. And I think he asked for a little bit of clarification on that.
I missed that. I'll go back to that. Let's get people. Thank you, Alec. Is people happy with this text? Okay. Thank you, Hank. Osama,
on this specific point, so when the agent itself is changing, there is no remote attestation technology which exists today which can take care of these dynamic changes. So I wonder why we are saying this, making this statement that's specific.
We're currently discussing this statement. Is that the statement you're talking about?
Yes.
Huh?
Oh.
What was your question?
This statement, agents with high performance requirements? I don't understand how. Could you say again what you were talking about then? Because I don't understand the relevance.
So here you are linking it up to the remote attestation requirement. So what exactly do you mean by that?
What I mean is that getting any workload up and running may be slowed down by the fact you need to do remote attestation, which I think is a fairly safe comment.
Is it one time or multiple time?
Doesn't matter.
It's
just a true statement.
It's not necessary if attestation is lazy.
May.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Alec, your comment was back on which bit, please?
2 bullet points above where you're at.
This one here?
Yeah,
it wasn't
right
from
there.
me, so maybe Dan did it. I don't know who did it.
I think I did that. What's the question?
What was the
What is
the point?
confidential computing compatible accelerators?
That would be like Hopper GPUs and.
Well, they are
TDISP, basically, right? Anything where you have a PCI encryption link.
There you go. So maybe just include that employ TDISP, SPDM, something like that. I think
it's getting quite
just the words confidential computing compatible. I didn't make any sense to me when I read it, and I wasn't the only one. There you go. Confidential computing accelerators. There you go. That works.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Just remove compatible then.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Or enabled, maybe.
I think fewer words is better. I think that's good.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So next one is this. As AI.
Well, before you move to the next one, I want to really record my objection to the last one. The first bullet point. I know that the first in this remote attestation, and at least I want it to be recorded that somewhere, or you want me to comment it. I don't want it to be that we had a meeting and we agreed on this, so we can discuss further on the list. But I really want to say that I disagree strongly, very, very strongly with this.
Just add a comment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Osama to add further thoughts, comments. Okay, so that allows you to to put some stuff in the document about it. That's great. No problem at all. And we should say that we aim to approve by consensus. That doesn't necessarily mean entire unanimous consensus, and there'll be things I disagree with this in this document as well. I'm sure there'll be things most people disagree with, but if there's really important things, then we should try and tease those out. But let's please do address these in this document. That's great. Okay, so we're back on this
unanimity.
One. Is not what?
Consensus is not unanimity. Consensus refers to supermajority, and unanimity to uniformity. Thank you.
And consensus rules. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's carry on, guys. We don't have much time. We're doing really well. I'm really pleased with this, but let's keep going. So, my only concern about this is that it gets really quite technical-ish. Things like KV cache and stuff. But it's important, right? I don't know whether I want to remove any of this, particularly as Dan wrote it, and therefore it's obviously excellent text. But it feels like quite a heavyweight piece of thing. But it does, this is technical control. So are we happy with this? I think I probably am, but I just wanted to raise it with everyone. Okay, no comments. It's in.
Yeah. But maybe not in bold. Okay.
No, I know. I'm debolding it. It's just the way things got added. It's a nightmare. Okay, so yeah, so this very good point from a number of things. I think AMTLS doesn't exist. So a connection protocol such as. Are we happy with this? Is this a thing that we're happy to put in or not?
I have not heard ever about connection protocols. What are they?
It's anything that is a protocol that goes over connection to secure a connection. Connection.
I mean, there are lots of ways to do this that aren't MTLS. We've been consistent,
which is why I put
just say maybe it doesn't matter about MTLS, right? Maybe just say a testable TLS, right? Then it doesn't care what specific protocol you end up with.
Well, I wouldn't even say TLS. TLS is far from the only connection protocol, right? being the point here.
Yeah. Then remove the suggest completely, right?
Or GSS API, yeah. All those are valid.
Okay, so it must be authenticated.
Period.
Okay. Well, do we not want to with remote attestation?
I think what you want to say here is that you have some authentication protocol which you want to extend with remote attestation. That's, I believe, what you want to say here. Is it correct?
I think we probably must employ a protocol which an authentication protocol which
extended with remote attestation, I believe, would be
that's
easy to
lovely.
say.
Thank you. Extended with remote attestation. I think that's really nice. Does anyone have a problem with that? I think that removes all of the if I could spell attestation.
Yeah, must employ, not employed.
Yep, thank you. All right.
I just read it, and I think that what we want to make sure is that if you create a secure connection between two endpoints, you want to make sure that the secrets that are being used to create the trust between the two endpoints is based on remote attestation. How it's getting implemented, I feel that it's is it the protocol?
So are you happy with this, Ophir, or would you like to change this text?
I think that it's good because at the end of the day, maybe we're over-engineering it. We need someone to read it and get enough curiosity to move to the next phase. Yeah.
I have no problem with strong normative language here, and this is not an IETF standards document, but I take.
I know. I just wanted to highlight without talking. Sorry. Okay. Good.
That's fine. I think we've addressed that one. I agree that wasn't a really helpful thing in here. There we go. All right.
I don't know if I should say I'm sorry I'm taking us backwards, but maybe the protocols should be, you have private and you have public ones, and maybe to divide like that, like maybe in the future we're gonna have photonic protocols, but to leave it a little bit more like you have private one like VP, on private you have like VPNs and others, and so we don't say anything that support cryptography, like that it's encrypted. We don't say it's protocol that have to be encrypted. We're saying just protocol.
Well, we haven't said it. We haven't said it needs to be encrypted here, right? We just say it must deploy an authentication.
Yeah, authenticate. Yeah, I'm saying maybe I'm just on the minority here, but I think that the protocol should be encrypted, not just authenticate.
I would always want that, but I don't think that's as strong as a must.
Okay.
Don't start me, Hank. Okay, I think we need to finish here because we need to. I will continue. We've done most of this, right? There's more comments to come in. I'm going to be traveling next week. If people could put stuff in before Sunday, I expect to do stuff on a plane on Sunday. I've got a 9-hour flight or whatever to Vancouver. So if people could try and, as long as I've got internet access. If people could put stuff in the next couple of days, I will attempt to do the next round of this so that we can go do some more mailing lists and other stuff on this document. I've been really pleased with this, and thank you everyone for your input. This has been really helpful.
Thanks, Mike, for driving this.
Can I hand back to you, Rene, to finish off the?
I think we 2/3 through, so that's great.
Am I sharing still, or have I gone?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I think we are 4 minutes to close, so let's adjourn this meeting and meet in 2 weeks on March 5th. And meanwhile, as Mike mentioned, please add your last comments to the doc, and let's wrap it up in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. This can be really painful, and this is exactly the level of expertise that we need to apply. So thank you, everyone. Benny, thank you for coming along, and I know it's been an interesting first meeting. Sometimes
thank you very much. It's
not always.
A pleasure. I was writing to my team. It's great to be part of it, and I learned a lot. So thank you very much.
Great,
fantastic.
Perfect.
Well, I think the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for running it as well, Rennie. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.